go back to the share screen.
Oh, it's there, you can just go whatever screen.
I didn't write out the agenda this time.
Do you need me to get?
Yeah, I
Let's
could
go
do
down.
that other thing that I give you guys.
I don't know what I do. Okay.
Yeah.
Call meeting to order and roll call.
Yeah.
I guess I do myself. Committee Chair Keller is here. Committee Member Perez. Committee Member Walker. Committee Member Diaz,
Here.
and then I have Stacy Anderson. Is there a list of everyone?
It should be
And then vice
Lucy
chair.
Chalice and.
And
Black.
You check. That means now make sure I know.
So we're. And then we have no citizen comments. Minutes. The approval of minutes.
Approval of minutes from last meeting?
Like 3 months ago. Yeah.
January.
Oh, are we working our way through this?
Maybe you.
Yeah.
Approval of minutes from January 31st,
Second
second by Chalice?
Yeah.
I do have to do the vote. All in favor?
I,
All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, carries 5-0. Citizen comment period, with Trails Committee. Which we said we don't have to do that, right? No one's here.
Yeah.
So one reports and presentations, proceed report, whole discussion, provide staff feedback regarding the monthly staff report.
So that was, the trail dozer has been delivered. The green plush restroom is expected to arrive mid-December. We are doing the water tap. We have it in the works for the restroom.
what are we doing with the what?
The green flush restroom,
Oh, okay,
yeah, it's supposed to be here by like mid-December.
okay. Why
That's
so
what I got,
long?
Button.
Just
Yeah.
curious,
Sorry?
why so long, just curious?
Because they start building it after it's paid for. It's not pre-made already, they've been building it. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. How many are we getting? One?
Just one. It's got two bathrooms and a faucet in the middle, I believe. Whatever
How big
you
are
guys.
they? How big is it, like a building?
Oh.
Box? Like a,
16 by 24, I believe is what so. About as wide as this table and then add another table long, if that makes sense. It's a decent size.
Is this the kind where they come empty it?
Yes.
Kind of can't standard state park bathroom. At least it sounds. like.
Yes and no, because I'm not sure if this one, I don't know, because Betty did that part, to be 100% honest, I don't know. But the other modular ones we've been adding actually have a thing where they can be locked from your phone. So somebody else doesn't have to come at the middle of the night or whatever to lock it, which is pretty cool. I don't know if this one has it or not, so who knows?
What are they doing for Winter Rising?
So it's gonna have, okay, so there's gonna be the 2 toilets. I don't know if, again, somebody else started that, so I didn't really catch up on it. So I'm not sure how the flushing mechanism works.
Yeah, just because depending on where the water line comes in. Might not be.
Keeping yeah, and if it gets to the point where it's too low, we'll turn it off and then drain the lines, is usually what we do. I went to the IMBA concert, or labs, not concert, convention.
You went to a concert.
You're like, yeah, it was cool, I learned a lot.
what was that again? I'm sorry, what?
The International Mountain Biking Association labs.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah, that's actually for a change for some stuff that I put in for the signs, because I didn't really know before I went to the labs thing. And I was like, wait, I want to change some things,
Yeah.
but it had already been submitted, so I couldn't change it. So I was just gonna tell you about it.
I'm curious, where was this conference at?
Bentonville, Arkansas.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went with Conrad, one of the other guys that's on the trails crew. It was really educational. I should have shared it on this. I did like a iMovie thing that's like 2.5 minutes long of all the pictures. If I remember, I'll put it in next month's presentation because I should have added
And I'm
that.
sorry, what kind of conference was this?
International Mountain Biking Association?
Mountain biking.
Yeah.
Did you go to that, Josh? Aren't you
I would have
on the mountain?
loved to go, but
Okay,
I couldn't.
it cost money.
Yeah.
Money and time.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, yes.
When is the right time to hear all about that? Is that something we should stick around after the meeting or?
If we want, we can chit chat about it, because it's not really related to.
Sure.
So that would be fine.
Okay,
Okay, then the next thing is the signs package. Or at least that's what I have on the agenda list.
receive a report, hold a discussion and provide staff direction regarding remaining trail improvements, including signage, call boxes and erosion management.
So then I've got this has been a couple months ago that I put this together, so, and I haven't looked at it because I've been pretty busy, to be honest. So this is what we had talked about in January,
I think so.
I think. Okay, so they kind of requested that I come back with some ideas and opinions, and, this is my recommendations type of thing. So this is sort of what I have, but I do, after the mountain biking thing, have a couple things that I would kind of like to change.
Mhm.
So the first thing is the arrow signs. I thought those were really great, because we can put them on trees. You don't have to worry about them flooding, washing away, etc. Obviously, you're gonna have to worry about vandalization, but that's gonna be an issue no matter what it is.
Oh, are they hammered in? Or-
Yeah, so you could just hammer, like screw them, either screw them or hammer them into trees. So I would just make sure that I picked like, hackberries or, obviously not oaks and, and there's obviously screws and stuff that you
Why
can.
not oaks? Is it because they're not white or what?
Just because I wouldn't want to damage the trees.
Okay, that was my question about, does it damage trees?
Yeah, I can find some that are less damaging. I mean, obviously it's still, not 100% perfect, but there's options like stainless steel, to put in there to minimize damage.
Something like this is environmentally safe for birds or bugs or,
It's,
Yeah,
yes, it's a 3-inch, 3.5-inch.
okay.
It's just a little disc. It's about like this big.
Okay.
Yeah, so then you just
This
put them
is
on the
seaweed.
trees. Sorry?
It's a seaweed, I think it's that big and.
Oh, yeah, no, they're little discs. They're like 3.5,
So
4
it's not
inches.
gonna get in the way of wildlife. and that
Yeah, no,
kind
it's
of
not
thing.
gonna yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay,
So originally on here, my staff recommendation was to do yellow arrows and orange arrows. And I would actually like to change that and make the nature trail green arrows. And that is because the IMBA, this other paper that I put in with you guys, the International Mountain Biking, they have a trail rating difficulty system. And from what I read through, the nature trail would be a green or an easy circle. So I would like to go ahead and just sort of use that, since it's sort of universal.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me.
yeah,
Would you wanna do for the mountain bike trail, use the blue background and not the orange one, or do you wanna stick with that?
That's what I was thinking about for the blue, do the orange, and instead of doing the arrow, we could do the bike. The only thing that I'm worried about putting a bike on there is people be, oh, well, this is a bike trail if there's a hiker there. So that's the only hesitation I have, because I don't
so
want
it
there to
might
be
deter
conflict.
them from doing the hiking because they think.
Yeah, or if they are hiking, now suddenly you have a biker going, well, you're not supposed to be here, it shows a bike, so I'm like,
You'd be surprised how you can
I
get into
don't
discussion.
know.
Yeah,
I mean, I used to ride horses in like Arizona, so there's like this little 3-way triangle, horses, people, bikes, and everybody knows who to yield to. And for the most part, I never ever had an issue.
sure.
And I mean, I was on horses and they're flighty, but I know that's not always the case. So I don't know. On that one, I was sort of hoping for your opinion. What do you guys think? You think it'd be easier to do the arrows or the bikes? Obviously leaving it up to you. But I did want to change the nature trail to the green and the single track to, instead of the orange, to the blue. Is what my thought was. So
That's something.
I wouldn't put the bicycle, that's my opinion.
keeps to see with the arrow. That's what I was like. I don't know.
I mean, it's technically, this whole thing is a mixed use trail. so
Yeah.
Specifically. You're gonna. make any kind- Okay, yeah, so why are there walkers on them?
Yeah, and that's sort of what was my thinking for picking the arrows. I mean, like I said, they have little bike symbols and they're cute. but I don't want, I wanna make sure that it's open, so, but that was my thought.
The only problem, and I don't know if this fits in this discussion now, and this is open for discussion too, but it is a problem. Because there's electric motorbikes that go back there. And they do tear up the mountain bike trail pretty easily, especially when it's wet.
Mm.
So it's something we can think about is if we put no motorized vehicles on certain sections. I think it's fine on the main section, the big wide trail,
See, now technically, they're not even supposed to be there.
really.
Because Benny and I, when we were building, have actually, some of the areas where you could easily see, like, it's posted, no unauthorized
There's a
vehicles.
lot of electric
Yeah.
vehicles and
And,
gas four-wheelers.
bikes, and I've seen a lot.
It's
of
hard to
stuff, too.
police that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you can't enforce it, I don't know what you do, but
Yeah, it's all we could do is put up signs and like,
Yeah.
when we see them, tell them, but that's, as soon as you leave, they're,
sure.
but,
Okay. I just
So,
thought
yeah.
this- something that might become a problem, and I see almost as many of those as anything else, the little
like the
electric
scooter,
bikes.
almost, yeah, okay. I'm assuming at some point we might have to, and obviously, I don't know, but I'm assuming at some point, after we get enough people going on here, that they might end up hiring an officer for the trails, but obviously I have no idea if that's accurate.
Yeah,
or not,
it
so-
could have evolved to something like.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't think we need it,
Yeah.
but in the future, I mean, and I hope we get there,
If
because that means they're
anybody-
being used.
Need it.
Get another $2 million or something,
Yeah.
you know?
Pretty big ruts in there, so eventually it would cause erosion, but I mean, if it's just a few little bit, it's not bad, but.
Well, like, so we could put up more signs, but for now, that's.
Yeah.
That's sort of where we're at,
Makes
but,
Yeah, and then with respect to what we did, like if the trails are wet, then we put like a log in front, do not use the trails until they dry out. Obviously, there's still people out there like to leave the stuff. But
Yeah,
it is more of a deterrent. Most people generally, like, oh, sorry, you didn't leave.
well, and some of it, like, we need to update, I need a way to like. Have a website, because we're working on it, where I can go on, if it's raining, go on there, please stay off the trails, for the next 3 or 4 days, because, they're wet and, da, 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 da. So that is something in the works, I don't know how long that's gonna be, but that's.
Is it
a
something that
work
you can post on the Kyle Facebook page?
I could probably do that, I don't. I can have access
what
to the Kyle
page?
Facebook page, but I'm like, I don't want it.
Rachel does that.
Sonia, yeah, I could ask her to do it too.
What page is that? I'm sorry, you mentioned.
The Kyle, City of Kyle Facebook page.
Oh, Facebook,
Yeah. Yeah,
Instagram. How about the City of Kyle website?
yeah, that's what I was talking about. We're trying to get it where I can go in and be like, okay, due to the rain, please expect the trails to be closed for, X number of
You
days.
could put something that pushes out to different social media. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know how that works, but
Yeah, I'd have to ask Rachel on that one. 'cause again,
like it goes to the different places. There's so many now
Yeah,
that people would visit, either the City of Kyle, the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, formerly, what is it the other way around?
X.
Formerly
I think
Twitter.
now, or, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, so that's the arrow sign. I figured we could just go through them all and then. That easier. And then we have these guys, which I really like these, but they're expensive, I'm not gonna lie. The inserts can be changed, so I would probably want to order one that has inserts on 3 sides, so that, say if they get vandalized, again, you can remove them and replace them, if they get ruined. The posts are nice, they're not gonna rot. They can't be placed in flood areas and they are expensive. So 4 posts with 3 inserts is like 1,580. And I'm not gonna lie, I could put up a 4x4 a cedar post with concrete and the signs. $80, $100. So,
Oh, that's a lot cheaper.
so if you guys would rather go that way, totally fine.
How much do these cost?
They are 1580 for 4.
I can't see it. I'm sorry. Is it there? There you go. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it is pretty small.
Purchase a 4 with 3 inserts for 1,500.
There you go. 1580, yeah, that you still can't see.
And remind me, what are these? The
Sorry,
sign
I didn't realize.
like inserts can be changed to vandalize poster aesthetically. What purpose do these posts serve?
So they would be markers probably like about every mile.
On the trail,
Yes.
markers, okay.
Even, so up in Illinois,
Mhm.
we had them, but it was more like if you come to like a T-junction, there'll be one there, like, it's
Or
different.
the
Once you're
beginning.
on the trail,
Yeah.
you're on the trail.
Mm.
Good luck.
It's like, if you get off, that's what I would
I
think.
lived in Maryland,
Well, like I said, I
and they
could,
had something like that, but it was more of like arrow this way. 1.5 to wherever, 0.2 to wherever, and different direction, because the trail is marked.
yeah,
These were, asphalt trails.
okay.
That would be to me cheaper, but they don't, you can't change them, you would have to take the whole thing. I see what
Well,
you're
and like I said, I can literally, instead of buying these, and I wish I would have put it on here what the price per was, granted, is all I have to do is divide.
But what sort of inserts can be changed or vandalized?
But I mean, I could still do that with a regular cedar post and, you know, again, it's cheaper. The only nice part of this is that it doesn't rot, you know, it's like,
This one.
yeah, so,
What's it made of?
like the polypropylene, it's the,
Okay. Plastic,
yeah.
so it could be environmentally unfriendly, I don't know.
I wouldn't put them anywhere where they're gonna be in the floodplain because I don't want them getting wiped out.
Oh.
Expensive, or they're expensive,
So tell me what,
almost $400 a piece
what would, for what?
per post of those.
So, okay, what would the signage be, the inserts, what would they, an example of what they would have?
It had
And
like
that's
a
what,
distance
6 by 6
and
maybe?
direction.
Or does that look like a?
So like if you're going this way, you know that it's 3 miles.
So they
4 mile
have
and a half.
them-
It'll also have, not that it matters for hiking, but you would get an idea, you'd be like, oh, that's easy. That's a little bit harder. We're not gonna have any
Oh,
cliffs or anything, so we wouldn't have any of that, but.
Those things do matter for hiking. But
You can put.
we don't know, I really put something on a hike and I was like, okay.
The
no
motorized
signs
then too.
We could do that on there.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
idea.
they, and then.
No, I agree, Lori, that would be good.
Color.
Yeah, so like if somebody vandalizes that, I have screws, I could take it off, just put up a new one.
Yeah.
If
What is
the,
that you're showing?
It's from a Lake County Forest Preserve. Those are the,
they're similar, but it's a 4x4 post.
Oh, okay.
So,
so it's just, and then you can change the color. of the
But then you're thinking about rotting?
cedar is slower, and then I could, you know, stain the upper part. Cause like I said, I wouldn't put it in the floodplain, because I don't want stain. But,
So how close is the trail to what you call the floodplain? I mean. or the
it depends, some of it's completely, you might as well be walking in the creek, and some of it is, you know, oh, this is
Okay,
this
I
is
see.
never gonna get wet.
I see.
So
So
it's,
you're just gonna be selective of where. it
yeah,
goes.
it would definitely have to be one of those things where I'm like, okay, the last time it rained, the water was all the way up to there, so we're not putting it here.
Yeah, okay.
So, for sure.
Well, do we ask for everything and they can tell us, yeah, we ain't got no money for that? Or do you, am I thinking over?
This is within our budget, as far as I understand. We do have a budget that we can, where all the things that we're talking about fit
Well, I'm glad you
within.
said that, because
Voted on that.
So, yeah, we have, it's the bathroom comes out of the same budget and all the things we talked about, and, there's something we talked about that we saved all this cost in the last 2 months. What was that? Was it the call boxes?
The call boxes,
So we have saved a
because the
lot of
call
money
boxes
there.
were 45,000 a piece, I think. Oh, you weren't here yet. I'm like, does that sound about right?
And now it's just, we have an emergency call number, a sign.
Yeah, that's down here a little bit later.
So, I mean, take all that into account, and I
Okay.
can't remember exactly what we're spending money on. I know the bathroom was something, and now we're talking about the playground equipment or the sports equipment.
Yeah,
Which
and
that's kind of up in the air too.
yeah,
So if we are voting on this tonight, and this is our discussion point, are the big wider signs part of this discussion too? Like,
big wider signs.
we talked
the
about a
interpretive
kiosk,
signage. I can't remember if I put those on here or not.
and that's
I
fine.
think the interpretive signage might be later in this. I won't lie, like I said, I put this together a couple months ago. I have not looked at it since, so I'm like, I kind of forgot.
so the interpretive signs?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, that Josh, that are later?
I think so.
Okay.
So is there more on here? or
Yeah,
should-
there's a
Go
bunch.
ahead. and then
So I'll just keep writing this down and then we can, you know.
We're
pop back
interrupting,
and-
we're interrupting your.
Okay.
So.
So then there's these guys, fiberglass composite stakes. These are kind of a pain to put in, kind of hard to get out, but they would be fabulous in like the floodplain because they are also pretty hard to break. It's super expensive for, so you see down at the bottom, it says 20 stakes plus installation and removal equipment, 1,454. The majority of that cost is the actual installation, the post pounder. And so after we have that, it's really not that bad. I want to say it was like 20 stakes for like $400. It's just the first time when you buy it, you gotta buy all the extra stuff. And it's a little painful, but
But I mean, it basically works out to about $70 a stake.
yeah, it's, I mean, as long as we don't lose the installation stuff, which obviously we'll be very careful with because it's expensive, it's really not that bad. And it's easy to add on, you know, to buy another 20 stakes later. It's pretty cool. They have tons of different sticker options. And even if they don't have the sticker options, Fast Signs or somebody else that another signage company that we work for, it's easy enough to get them made. So I like these. I've used them before on the roads, you know, years ago, and they're pretty cool.
And what kind of markings would you put on here, mileage?
Probably like say some mileage. If there's some T's in the floodplain, you could put one there. After you pound them in the ground, they're about like this tall.
Okay. High off the ground? the
Yeah,
level?
yeah, say if the
Okay.
floor is the ground, it's about
Yeah,
right in there. Yeah, pretty high up. So it's not, you're not gonna be looking down at the ground, going, where is it?
yeah,
okay. But, so yeah, I was thinking, you know, we could do mileage, we could do, say the bike path hits a spot, you know, bike path, now you got your, you know, your green arrow and your blue arrow, so, you know, or however we, you know, wanna do it on the stickers. This is probably one of my favorite pieces
Yeah.
on the things, but some of it's because I've used them before and it's like, okay, they're pretty effective, but anyway.
Yeah, I like them, but I would not try to put as many words as they have on there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
because-
It needs to
That
be
just gets-
simplified a lot
Yes,
more.
or, yeah, just so that people can glance and go, okay, and know what it is instead of like.
Yeah,
what is
picture
this?
like
just
one
stop and
symbol,
read
one
it, yeah.
number.
Yeah, it's
B,
like they have like
color.
little hiker guys and little
Right.
bikes and arrows, you know,
Yeah,
this is definitely
busy.
busy. And it's cool too, because you can also double side them. You know, you can
but
put them on both
but
things.
the language there is like an option, right? I mean.
Yeah, no,
we
no,
can
no.
have that or
The
something
stickers
else.
can be anything we want.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
that's it. That's an easy one. And the next one is, and this is the emergency stop signs that we were talking about. I did talk with our emergency management guy, and he's kind of recommended about every half mile. So that's where I got the 14 sets. Obviously, this is gonna be a little bit slower to get in because this is something I'm gonna have to meet with, you know, PD and make sure that everybody knows.
Knows where the
You know,
positions are.
otherwise they're pretty worthless, you know, oh, I can
Yeah.
stop number 5. Great, where's that? You know, so, so this one might take a little bit more because I'll have to meet with the, chief and emergency management services and stuff. But those were, was it 14 sets for about $250
And what did you say, how far apart?
every half mile?
Every half mile?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the topper signs,
That's what I meant, topper sign.
Topper.
No,
That's
Yeah.
your word.
these ones are super cool. And again, I'm not gonna lie, super expensive. $752 each. We still have to put in the post. It would make it pretty simple for us maintenance wise, because if somebody, you know, does some graffiti on there, you just pop that top off and you slide the sign out and you can either replace it with another sign. So that part's neat, but I will also be honest in saying that I can make this out of wood for probably. The post is $40. You're gonna need that either way. You're gonna need the cement either way. For the top part, I could probably make it out of wood I could probably make 7 or 8 for maybe $100.
And
So-
what do you charge?
Whenever I get paid an hour. So, but I don't know if you guys have been on the Button Wildflower Loop where they have all the butterfly signs. I'm not sure. if you
No,
guys
I
know.
haven't been over there.
Oh, okay, so we made those in-house and put those in and so if you guys get a chance, I should have taken a picture, but.
So
they look
they're
similar.
great.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I like this part just because it's easy for a maintenance standpoint, but at the same time, I'm looking at the bottom line going, okay, but $75 or $700 per thing. Is it that
And
easy?
how
I've had to
Right,
replace,
but-
let's see, on the Wildflower Loop, I've had to replace pretty much all of them once, but that, they've been up for 2 years.
And what was that for? Because of. the
Vandalized.
Vandalized, of course, okay. So tell me the insert, obviously that's, like, for
It just
example. what
slides
you
on
see
top
there,
of the 2x4 and you like bolt, or the 4x4 and you like bolt it on there. And then that very top rail,
So it can easily be taken out to put different data in there,
yes.
different pictures.
And that's what I like about it, but I'm like, okay, but do I $752.27 like it? It's like, it's
Yeah.
pretty, it would be nice, but.
So your wood ones, they would just be one.
So is what we did for the wood ones is basically we cut, the 2x4 like this, and instead of having it flat on the top, we did an angle. And then I put a board on, or I took my sign, glued it and screwed it onto a 3/4 inch sheet piece of marine plywood, cut it out, and then just attached it to the 4x4, if that makes sense. So I mean, it was pretty easy. But if it gets destroyed, I'm gonna have to rip it apart, and yeah, it's more of a pain in the butt.
You
But
have to rebuild the whole thing.
the 4x4 would still be there, so it's not like I have to replace
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
a point, there might be, after, I would have to replace it 2 or 3 times. I might have to cut a couple inches off of the 4x4,
Got it.
but
Store it kind of-
yeah, right. That's why I'm like, I put it in here because this is all stuff that you guys had kind of brought up, and so that's why it's here. And I did give recommendations off of what you guys said, but I wanted to give you kind of an alternate view if you're like, okay, that's kind of crazy, because it's a lot of money.
So remind me, the trail, how long is it? And I know it's.
3.5 miles, 1
3.5 miles. How many do you anticipate
I believe you guys wanted 15. Yeah, 15.
What?
Did you show on it for?
I had made 15.
I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay, yeah, 15, 1-5. I had ideas like, the history of Kyle, some wetlands, snakes, wildflowers,
I think right down
trees.
your alley is because your education.
Yeah, kind of.
environmental education.
I actually had a list, but.
No, I love those
But,
things.
but I did come up with 15 things. I was like, what do you think about these? And,
Yeah.
but I didn't bring them, so.
But this is the kind of thing, if my kids were literally, my daughter's going on 11, but when they were.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay.
In the elementary age, this is what would help get my kids out and do it, because they all wanna go stop and do something, they don't wanna just go walk. So that's why I think that, as soon as they realize it's education, they might say, I'm not interested, but they would be interested if it's full of
Yeah, like, at least
pictures.
for a minute, it's cool.
If it shows like how something metamorphosizes and all that.
I think I had like the monarch butterfly whole thing, except for that one, that's actually a different one, because I wanted to make a monarch butterfly cutout and make. Anyway.
So, I'm all for getting kids outside, because I think that's a huge problem. So I think anything like this is, in my opinion.
I just think, especially if you have to get it outside the floodplain, you're gonna be like, to do where you can place it. You don't wanna have like, kind of one end of the trail and 5 on the other, and there's nothing to do.
And the most hiking is in the floodplain, you're right.
Although some of those, I do plan on moving some of the trail when, we're pretty busy right now doing the community garden. So the trails are, we're still maintaining them obviously, but like, they're kind of chilling there, to be not honest. Anyway, so when I get done with the community garden, there's at least probably, I think, 4 spots where I already am like, okay, I want to move the trail off here because this is just constant erosion. There's no, I can move it 10 feet this way and it won't be an issue. So there's gonna be more opportunities, but do I know exactly how many now?
Sorry, just kind of side note on that. I maybe get some do stuff on character. The office place where we want the trail and put the floodplain. Is on that. Yeah.
Is that something that would be worth bringing to a meeting like this?
I would have to ask them, because honestly, so that
No,
would definitely be, somebody else would have to help on
Didn't
that.
at one time we marked on that, so we had everything,
Did we?
wasn't that like it, on the first,
Yeah. Beginning.
one of the first
Huh.
or second meetings, but wherever that is.
I'll have to ask Benny on that one.
And Stacy's put in a lot more new trail, like recently. So
So that map might
So that may
be.
not, yeah.
Yeah.
it's almost like we do need a new map, and people who've been out there recently, that one thing they've said is, hey, we need to get some signage, because it's starting, we're trying to avoid it becoming like a spider web kind of thing. We want it to be pretty simple, but there's a couple spots that are starting to be a little bit like, oh, where does this one go, where does that one go? So I think signage, if, I feel like we need map, and we need to get people out there to actually look at it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I must maybe check, cause you use Strava, right? And I can, sorry, I'm just completely,
Use that to make the map.
yeah, it's just cause I was doing
There-
something similar for another project earlier this week, so that's why it's still like, I'm like, "Oh, I just did this, let me see if I can do it."
At the conference thing, they brought up another app,
All trails or trailblazers?
Avidia. I wrote it down, now.
Cause I mean, like, something like that with the map, trail map system, that would be great.
Yeah, and I brought, I don't think you were at, it was the last time we did one, I brought like a state map. And I was like, what do you guys think about this one? And everybody liked that, and so I need to still take that to the GSI guy, because he said he can help me do it. Between him and Palms, we can update that and even have like actual maps where you can take a paper copy and also have it, on the city website type of thing. As well as doing, one of these signs.
Maybe I'll, outside of this, if you have a relationship with your attorney, maybe see if you can send me shape. Together.
Yeah, I'll have to ask to make sure. Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's,
I don't know.
I can get most of the information anyway. It's usually just like, hey,
Yeah.
And you're saying you would walk up, right up to one of these, and it's almost like you are here. I think that's when we talk about 15. If you're out there now and you start to do, like, sometimes you just on a trail, you're like, oh, this is just a little loop. Like, I'm gonna get to the same spot, remember which way I go, there's a couple of those in there,
Mhm.
and just having those help people, because they're like, oh, no, I don't wanna go that way, who knows where I'll end up, I'll end up in a neighborhood, but if it's like, oh, it's just a little
Me.
loop.
I need that.
I think people feel so much more comfortable when they have plenty of those, you are here, and here's where you can go kind of things.
Okay, so
so
then,
like I said, I'm completely,
No, that's so helpful, I think that would be great.
well, and I mean, our signage definitely needs a lot, for sure. So all the help we can get on that, great. Okay, so next was, okay, so if you want to, you want me to go back to like, look at each thing then and talk about how
The
you want to do
signage,
it?
8,400, whatever, is it for all the things you just showed us?
Yes.
Okay.
But like I said, this is what I recommend off of what you guys had previously recommended to me. But there's a lot of options where we can go a lot cheaper, which is sort of what I threw in there on the side, because
I'm all
So
for that.
what is, I mean, why are we going cheaper? I mean, was it in the
Just-
budget originally?
no, either way, we're fine. It's just if you don't want to spend.
I mean, I thought we were like, are we saving for something else?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Just
okay.
because I'm cheap. Sometimes.
Just what I
You want to spend every dollar we can on the trail.
You know, where you said, we're gonna be using that anyway, huh?
Yeah,
Unless we're saving.
And, yeah, sort of.
but I mean, I think, again, then I would think it's representing is great. But then actually like, Mark, this is where we want to have this type of sign so that we don't have an overabundance of signs.
Mhm.
You know, it would be great if something is vandalized, place it, but you don't have to spend on it.
So
And she can
do you think we
easier.
should actually have a map and plan it out
We
before we
kind of pare
vote
it down
on that
and see.
number?
That's what I.
That's a
said.
good idea. I agree.
So
I'm a
how do
very
we-
visual person, so I want to see, yeah.
How do we get the map? And you're saying
That's
you
right.
can do that.
I can.
So if you bring it to next meeting, is that something that we can
Yeah, I
actually put in?
I'll play around with it, this weekend, and then I can have to see, send it out.
Because we have to match it with the flood plan, but then that would be
I've got-
perfect.
Yeah,
You have that.
and then I can then place, I think Strava, I can somehow get it in, I haven't tried it.
Okay.
And I'll look up that other app that they just told us about at that IMBA. It was a something, but I have it on my notes, but my notes aren't here. Just not helpful, but.
The concern I have, we talk about, we have all this money perhaps, obviously, we're not saving it for anything else. My only concern is that it is expensive to replace it, like if it's vandalized, unless you then go to the cheaper product,
Mhm.
So if you spend all the money you want, get the best stuff, and then you have to replace it for vandalism or whatever, then it won't be replaced because it costs more money. Or it takes a long time to get it.
Mhm.
Because it costs more money, you know what I mean?
Most of the signs themselves, like not, you know, the disc things, like I
Yeah.
don't know honestly, like how easy those are. If they're like thin aluminum, can somebody just bend them and, oh, okay, well, they just walk down the trail and wiped out
But they're
100 signs?
cheaper.
I don't know, but
Those
those
are
aren't that expensive.
Yeah, but some of the
So-
bigger stuff, there's more
So I'm
bigger
gonna, I'm
dollar,
gonna pop back real quick.
bigger
So,
dollar
yeah.
items, yeah.
Next, so these ones are 210, $2 a piece, essentially, for the
That's
arrows.
cheap, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
okay, not a
We'll get the
huge
back
deal.
thing there, yeah.
This one's a pretty big purchase, but again, if somebody vandalized this, is all I have to do is take the signs themselves out, and the signs themselves, the little inserts, aren't really that, Max Metal signs, which is what we get, they're
But I
really
guess I'm thinking
not.
about the post.
Yeah, the
that-
post, say they vandalize that, worst case, we could spray paint the whole post brown again.
What about
You know,
breaking
We
it?
had to.
How runs into
Go out
it?
there with
I
a
don't know.
chainsaw.
Yeah, that's. I didn't think.
It's that heavy
It's
duty,
really
like,
hard.
plastic, so you would have to probably hit it with a
Okay.
bar, I'm assuming. So there's that.
Good to know, okay.
I mean, vandalism is gonna be an issue regardless, but like I said, the actual inserts, size wise, because they're not that big. And then after we've made them, I already have, you know, and I can make the actual signs, so they're not getting sent out to be like
Right.
custom made. I mean, they're custom made, but not,
Okay.
you know, we do it in-house. These ones, I used to run, I used to run heavy equipment in Washington State, and I ran over these with like backhoes and loaders. And if I can't break them with the backhoe and loader, I don't think somebody's bike is gonna break them.
Yeah.
I mean, if they wanna try to rip them out of the ground, that's fine, but they don't come out of the ground very easily either. They're hard. So.
Okay, I'm convinced.
So,
Let's spend the money.
yeah, these ones are pretty cheap, 14 sets,
Yeah, that's
250,
safe.
so that's no big deal. And yeah, and that's way cheaper than the call center, you know, and I could be wrong, I thought it was 4,500, but, or 45,000, but that might have been for all three, I can't remember. But either way, if it was 15 grand for one, you know, it's still a lot of money.
What are those posted on though?
That is just on a chain link, these are tiny, but this one is actually only like that
Would
big.
that be like on a tree as well then? Or
No,
would
I've
we
got
have
them
to
on
find
the
posts for
the 2-inch square aluminum posts that you have the holes all the way down. We use them pretty commonly on the
Oh.
trail. We just pound them in a
Those
couple
are-
feet.
aluminum?
Yeah,
with-
and they're
okay.
not that expensive. I think I added it in on the price estimate 254, I believe included the posts, but I'm not 100% sure. They're not in the big scheme of things super expensive.
Do we think every half mile is too much?
I kind of do,
Oh.
but that's what.
We have.
You're doing a lot,
I guess
that's into.
That's kind of what I thought too, like, you know.
I guess it all depends.
Yeah.
You're not gonna wanna, hold up, let me get to this thing over.
Yeah, oh wait, sorry, did I just pass it or is it up here?
Yeah, so.
That's what was recommended to me, so, because I actually asked the emergency management guy, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, what's your opinion? And he's like, I think every half mile would be, you know, good. You know, because we could do every quarter, I'm like, oh, it's gonna look like nothing but signs on the trail.
Yeah.
So, but we obviously want people to be safe and feel safe, and that helps.
The key is to remember what pole you passed. before you get to
Exactly.
The next one.
I'm in between, yeah, for sure.
What to do and.
Yeah. Okay, so that's those. The toppers thing, like I said, this is probably one thing that I could easily save. What did I say? Okay, I still gotta buy the post.
I think you have to do a comparison of, you know, and. But you recommended what you talked about.
Yeah, what this is, all the stuff that's in here was what you guys actually asked me
Yeah, yeah.
to price. So I'm just giving you my opinion.
Your
on
options, yeah,
Options, it's
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, if you don't wanna spend that, I understand that you could do it this way, you know, so. I could probably make, and I'm sort of guessing, I could probably do this same thing for all 15. It does make it harder to exchange the signs, but like I said, we've only exchanged the signs once in 2 years on the wildflower loop so far. Knock on wood. It would probably be like maybe $200 or $300 for all 15 versus 4,544. They're nice.
If we
don't get me
don't spend that
wrong.
money, what would we
But-
use it for?
We could roll it
Yes.
over, we could
Yeah.
roll it over into the fitness equipment or
Okay.
whatever.
And
It's
we haven't spent that money for the fitness. Have we gone there? I know we talked about it.
I had a rep came last month.
But
and
that is, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just for one company. I was gonna try to give you guys options, but I haven't had time to do that.
And I bet that's gonna be quite a pretty penny.
They're spending,
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
expensive.
yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Okay, so toppers, so yeah, we could, so like I said, the toppers, I love this idea. I mean, maintenance wise, it would make it super easy, but again, is it worth it in the end? That's a lot, so. So yeah, that's,
so let me ask you, once we vote on what we're gonna go with regard to this.
or if you wanna wait and find out about map placement first, and then we can bring
That
it back.
too,
Yeah,
that's a
so-
great idea. But before we decide on the exercise equipment.
Mhm.
When do you go to the city council and tell them, hey, this is what the committee, I know
So-
it's just a recommendation to them, right? They're just gonna, and then
Yeah.
decide.
So for the fitness equipment, basically is what I have to do is I have to narrow down, what pieces do you guys like? And then I have to take those pieces, try to find 3 different people to get a quote from. And then find out the difference, why is this one, say, $10,000 more or this one cheaper? Is it worth the extra, 10,000 to buy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then pretty much,
To be on the city's, vendor list.
yeah, they have to, there's that too.
But you don't go.
But that's pretty easy to get on there,
So
so.
I'm just trying to understand with,
No
when
worries.
you, with this discussion about if we decide on, whenever we decide on the signage. We voted, we look at the map or whatever, and you decide, do you go to the next council meeting and say, this is what we have so far, can you approve this? Or do you wait till we decide all of it? including the
On this
fitness?
one, it wouldn't have to go to council because it's under,
Oh.
if it's under 15,000, I believe that my boss can sign off on it.
Got it.
So
Okay.
there's
I know.
price steps.
I'm understanding better, thank you.
Given
Yeah.
to this group.
Yeah, so basically, if you guys
There's like a
say,
tolerance in.
yeah, so she's got to
Don't
hear,
worry about it.
somebody else has up to here after this, it's gotta go to council. This
Right.
does not have to go to council.
Yeah,
If you guys are like, yeah, let's do this as presented, I could start
Thank
probably
you.
ordering stuff tomorrow.
That's good, I got it, thank you.
So,
So we'll bring a map, and if you need anything from me, Strava or anything, we can make that a priority and hopefully vote on it next meeting. Just from my perspective, when I got involved with this, like, this was my priority.
Mhm.
My experience with the trails over there in East Kyle is like, this is what we need the most, and even the one with the environmental information,
Mhm.
I think it's worth, I'm gonna say, let's vote for it, as many that makes sense. Like, I really like your perspective on it. Hey, 15 might be crazy, let's maybe 5 might work or whatever. So I think once we figure that out, I would be pushing
Mhm.
for this, because I think this is what makes it feel like an official trail.
Mhm.
And from my perspective, where I am trying to build this trail loving community and everything, I think this is where people are like, oh, they're doing something. I think if they see, oh, it's not just a piece of wood with information on it, they're actually making it look like an official trail, I think people will get excited about it.
I'm totally cool with the sign thing if you want to wait, but I do have the request for letting me go forward with the arrow signs. Even, I mean, they're $2 an arrow, and that would be a good start, because right now there's a lot of our trail that's in need. And it would be cool if I could buy, say, $600 worth of arrows.
And that's the number one thing when I'm out with people is, hey, we need some arrows.
Yeah,
What they say.
I'm like, it's small and it's not super expensive, and if we have too many, I can store them, because we're gonna need more sooner or later, so. If you guys are cool on voting on that, and if you are cool with doing the green for the nature and the blue for the bike.
Do we have to vote on that, or can we just say?
If you guys wanna vote on it, that way I have it official, and then
Do
I
we
can go
have any
ahead.
trails that?
I'm not asking for that, I'm just saying, do we have to?
Oh, okay, what's that?
Do we have any trails that could be blue?
As I'm reading this, and again, this is obviously just what I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I think that this might be what you guys have built. Because it's like obstacles,
What are you pointing to?
this,
Blue square.
Yeah.
the,
Right, I know, but,
under the blue,
okay,
the blue triangle,
yes,
trail width 24 inches or more. Cause I mean, like, some of it is only So that's why I was thinking that what you guys have built would be blue.
I can just say from my experience, they're green from compared to every other trail that we've been on. I think
Okay.
if they were marked blue, I think people would be like, I don't,
Okay.
it wouldn't feel right.
So then but then this also has to be green.
I think they're all green. Zay, do you
Okay.
think they're all
I
green?
think they're all green.
Okay,
I think when they're blue, it's like, oh, if I took my bike off that, I would potentially roll my bike down something. And we don't have any terrain like that.
okay.
We don't have any rocks that are that intense. that are
Yeah, because
like
some of the things
sideways.
that threw me, like unavoidable obstacles 8 inches tall or less. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, there's a couple spots that have like small logs. There's a couple like little bloop bloop for drainage over by the sewage treatment plant part.
Mhm.
But no, totally cool, because like I said, I'm
That,
just reading
By
it
the
going, okay,
sewage
this is
treatment
how.
where that dry riverbed
Yeah,
is the only part, I don't know if you've seen that one yet.
Um,
I think it would be considered green, but you could, if that little part were marked blue, I don't think anyone would be like, oh, that's crazy. I mean, some people like to brag about their skills and they're like, that's crazy, but if I took my little girl, I would say caution at that area, the dry riverbed. And that, what's that with the pipe that goes through right there?
oh yeah, that drops down and comes back up.
That's.
Yeah, that, and then if you get all the way to Lake Kyle where you know what I mean? Where it goes
Yeah, I
up
still
and
think
then that
that's
down.
green, because I've taken my
Is the
kids on
width-
it and they're
okay.
like, it's fine.
but I mean,
Okay.
you can always always
Just
like,
add a caution type
like a
sign or something.
caution.
Hill coming, or that might be a good idea
Obstacle,
too.
yeah.
Okay.
But from everyone, yeah, it's like 98% of the trail's green.
So the only problem with having everything green then is it's hard, there's no way for me to differentiate with the arrows. This is the single track, this is the nature. So I guess what would be a color?
I think what you already put single track signs out there.
Yeah, put a couple.
You would not believe
but
how many
anyway.
people love that. They're like,
So-
oh, it's like official single track now. Like there was actually that kind of feeling. So I think if you continue to do that and if we want to make those signs a little more permanent or a little more professional looking, I don't know how we could do that. But if we could take the Plum Creek Trail,
So I could do, sorry. Bigger than that though, but I could do the same thing as this, put it on the post, like normal, pounded in the ground. And then I could make it, green. And then do I call it single track? I mean, that's the other thing, because
I think.
that's
you
what I
could.
put it,
think
because
you
to me, it's
could.
like, okay, that doesn't really say just for bikes, but.
Yeah, I think if it would have the bike symbol, then people would be like, oh, I'm not allowed. But if it just says single track, I think people would still hike it. So I think it's fine. I picture a one of the, can you go up or the one above the colors that you really like? Could we put something like that and just say, like, people would see that and say it's green, like they're looking at the green one.
Yeah.
And just have maybe just say single track. I think that would work perfect.
So maybe double, or depending on what you think, triple the stake part of it.
Totally technical, I'm not getting any of this, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not really a biker, that's why I'm like, no, this is good information, because I'm trying to learn that, because I want everybody to be
So
able to.
single
use,
track means that only you have to step aside for somebody to pass.
And it's narrow. We use it as hikers too. Oh, there's a single track trail and it's just very narrow.
One person.
We need to make the thing wider for walkers and hikers and bikes. Can you do that?
Oh, well, that's what you have the nature trail for though.
Wait a minute, are we talking about two different trails here?
There's two different.
Yeah,
Adjacent to each other or?
sometimes.
One is like the main, almost like a backbone. And I don't know if they talked about this in Bentonville, but as they get more technical and more narrow, they are out on the sides of it. So it's almost like the main part.
Yes,
And if
like the
we ever-
spine.
If we ever get into like the concrete part, which we're not supposed to talk about here, the vibe stuff, but that's like the main part. And then what would be double track or something that's made with a cart, which is what they made, like a
Oh,
four-wheeled
okay.
thing where people could walk side by side. That's kind of more, again, kind of a backbone, kind of a main thing. And then as you get further out, you get more of this single track and
Sure.
thinner, almost more like nature, more chance you'd see a snake or something like that. Like, so that's
Okay.
kind of how they're usually, but our land is so tight because all the trees are only within the floodplain. So we've got like this dirt trail going through, and then we got little loops of single track going off to the side. So I don't think many hikers are gonna go off in the single track, because it's just like, why would we do that? It looks like a little loop, but bikers are like, this is perfect. for
So how
us.
wide is a single track?
Under
Uh,
24 inches, I would
Yeah,
say.
usually 18
Oh.
to 24 inches.
2 feet.
But some hikers like that because it makes them feel like they're
Yeah.
out in
In
nature.
nature.
No, yeah, I've done those hikes. That's rock
it's
in
kinda what everyone
Oregon. In Oregon. Okay, and so, yeah, but those are really serious to me.
They're not, they're not that serious. Like, it is a little loop, might take you 5 or 10 minutes where we are. Like, it's just a nice, it's like a chance to
Yeah,
get
of
away from things.
course.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I need to get out there, I mean, it's open, right, I mean, I've done it one time. But.
Good luck finding.
What?
What? We need signage.
Okay. Go through each one and say, we'd like to vote
Yes.
on this today, and we don't need to know exactly what needs to be on each of them, but we can say yes.
Okay, so
right?
which way to go, okay,
Yeah,
and
I
then,
mean,
but we
just so
won't
we
pick
get it
numbers.
feel accomplished.
Yeah, no worries.
like we-
I-
like we got
I got you.
something done.
Okay, so
So something.
not talking about numbers, everybody okay for the, or does anybody want to motion for the arrow signs?
Yes,
I'll make a motion for that arrow sign.
and I will second it.
Now we do the vote.
Now,
All,
what do we,
is there,
To
buy them
purchase.
right now, or? what do we
That
have?
you guys want to go forward with using these, but the number is to be determined.
Okay.
But I would like to buy a couple hundred right now.
Yeah,
For these signs, I would say that you can
Just-
do the number that you.
Yeah,
Just the ones that.
that's what I would
Yeah.
say, yes.
Okay, so instead of yellow and orange, how about if I do green and,
yeah, that's true.
Do some.
well, do you want to do blue, or we could do, yellow or orange on the single track? Cause that way it's not really if,
you think people might get confused and think it's.
yeah, cause I don't want to only do green when we have two separate trails, cause then it's
Well,
like, okay,
orange
well,
to me says caution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe do the yellow.
That's it.
I think
yellow for
yellow would be
single?
good, yeah.
sorry,
Oh, no, you're fine.
green for nature. Okay, so
Make a motion for that.
I'll probably do 100 yellow, 200 green, if that's both of them. Okay, so we're still good with the motion and the second for the yellow for the single and the green for the nature?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then, did you guys want to do your vote part?
What is green for?
Green would be for the nature trail,
Okay,
the Plum Creek Trail.
got it.
All right, all in favor of the 300 arrow signs?
Alright,
Bye.
Hi,
I'll oppose. Right, okay, 5-0.
Okay. Then the post with panel inserts. Do you guys still want to go this route, or would you rather go the cedar post route, which is gonna be,
I mean, I feel like, can we just get a couple of these, like the 4? I don't know. I like those. I think they look official. Like when you walk up to a trail somewhere, like from the neighborhood entrance.
but I mean, you can do that with the cedar post as well.
Yeah,
so the cedar post option, it would be, and I'm guessing, because like I said, I went off, what you guys said, and so I'm gonna guess like maybe $100, but that's probably with the first set of, 3 insert signs. So about $100 bag of concrete post, the small little, signs on 3 sides. And that's a guess. I can get an official number if you guys want and would want to wait on that.
So do we want to vote on that, or do we want to do the map?
I think I wanna do the map first. I mean,
Map
that's
first?
my-
okay.
That's what I suggest, for
Okay.
this kind of stuff.
And
the
then-
toppers.
And then do you want me to bring back an estimate for the cedar post option with the 3 insert signs? Just so that we have,
Just, I mean, if it's like a difference of $50. Cause I mean, it looks like if you do 4, it's about $375,
It would-
$390.
I bet you I'm gonna guess that the cedar post one would be about $120 versus, I think it was 400.
What?
Yeah,
what
three
you showed
ninety-five.
us That picture earlier.
That was,
that
that was a cedar.
a cedar,
source.
but there was something on top of it that looked.
They just had the signage was just different than those. Those are like skinny and long
Yeah,
and
they
they
had
fit
like
within.
wider.
Those
Yeah,
were
they
just a little
bigger
bit
like
wider.
this.
It was just like a cap on top. You can,
Oh, that was a cap. Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
like a little hat that makes it look, instead of just a seat, maybe just a, kind of.
Yeah.
Make it look. It's got like a little cap and it looks
Yeah,
more
that's-
professional than the sign.
Right,
Fancy.
okay.
It looks a little
I'll
fancier,
see if I
just
can
the.
find better pictures of it as well.
Maybe like a
Yeah.
fence post, but, or a, so, but that's nicer.
Yeah, see, that is nicer, that looks a
Yeah.
little nicer than. Kind
Maybe
of
the
compromise
different-
between that.
yeah. There you can. see it there.
Yeah.
See.
that's good.
It's almost like the top, the thing on top of the stair spindle,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stairs, they.
So that was a,
Side of home.
And it blends in with the nature.
Yeah, so that looks, yeah.
Although that might be hard to see, because everything is a green, when it's green, in Texas, nothing is green, but
Not
it's green it's hard to see for.
Well, this one's brown, so it'll blend in
Yeah.
August. It'll look like everything else that's brown and dead.
That's me, maybe I'm the one.
we could
that's
spray paint it
challenged.
orange or something crazy. Okay, so I have weight on this one for the map. Everybody's fine with
Yes.
that? Okay, so
but
next,
yeah, I like the idea.
Okay. Fiberglass composite stakes.
You guys are good.
I think we could go in.
Yeah, well, how many are there, 20?
Well, because I can get, so for the 1450, I can get the 20 stakes plus all the stuff to install it. If I need more, I think it was like 420 for another 20 pack. I believe I might have that information after this because I know I have it somewhere. Hold on one second, let me see if I can.
What is the lead time?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so. No, I didn't. Really? I did everything else but that one. Okay, I want to say that it was, I think it was $420 for 20 steaks, so sorry,
420 for 20, for 20?
for 20, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, what were you gonna start saying? Ruben?
What's the lead time on ordering something?
Oh, they don't have the stickers, so I could probably get them in like a week or whatever. It's a Carsonite is usually the brand. It seems like when I looked, it was pretty much all universal or Carsonite. So it shouldn't be that long.
So is there something we can vote on today? Or?
Yeah, if you guys want to just agree for the 20 and then obviously, if after we do the map, if you're like, oh, we should have 40, then we just gotta buy another pack of 20.
Yeah.
And that's no big deal because we'll already have all the installation stuff.
Right.
So.
And do all the colors come, or can you just pick which colors you buy?
They have those colors there. They have a brown. And I think that's it, is those 5 options.
So if we order the 20, do you get a combination of all 4 of
It'll
those
be the same, all
colors?
the same
Yeah,
color.
okay.
Yeah. So that would be the other thing is like, what color do you want to
But
use?
now we gotta vote on what color we want.
But like, okay, so for this, say you're gonna, we could do like brown on the single track and green on the,
And what are you putting on those signs?
it would just depend on where they're gonna be
Where you're
placed.
placing it?
Yeah.
The stickers, you said. You could.
And what the
Yeah.
sticker?
Well, I have to go out with what Lizzie's gonna go out on the trail, and go, okay, this would be a good place, we need an arrow here and there's no tree handy or whatever, so we'll put a Carsonite stake with an arrow because we're in the floodplain or,
So should we?
so I can't tell you what sticker right now.
Should we stay consistent then with the green and the yellow?
Green and yellow, yeah, that would be good.
So we did, okay.
So
so
like
green.
yellow goes with the yellow arrows. And
Yeah,
the
that
green-
Yellow is more of a hiker. Is that what we're gonna do with the arrows?
Well, so we had yellow for the arrows on the single. But do we think you're gonna need Carsonite stakes on the single? Not really, I mean, pretty much, the
only
arrows,
place-
other than,
I think it's like maybe the trails
Like
split
split.
somewhere.
but as long as that's not in the floodplain, we could do a regular sign, like the post, the pound in, and then I could have, Plum Creek Trail this way, you know, return to Waterleaf or, you know, whatever to explain that too, as long as it's not in the floodplain.
We do need to probably name these trails at some point, just so we can, because we're gonna be
I
like
thought
that one,
that
this
too.
one, that one.
So we've been calling the Plum Creek Nature Trail, the old one, the single track, I was like part of me is like, oh, we should call it the Fergus Trail, but that's just because of Kyle Fergus. So, yeah, we thought we,
Oh, we're gonna have to go on that first though.
Yeah.
If we did free, 1 pack of green for now, because I mean, you're gonna use the green on the main.
Mhm.
so 1 pack green at 14.54 ish, and that's assuming it hasn't changed because this was. So if everybody's cool with that, we can do the motion and all the. Fun.
Motion for 20 green fiberglass composite stakes. All in favor?
I,
Opposed?
And then. These ones. Like I said, this one's gonna take a little longer, because I need to make sure that we're all on the same page. Obviously, you know, you can vote to agree on it, but I'm not gonna go make them until I sit down with all the people that I need to sit down with.
so we don't have to decide on this.
I mean,
We
you
can
can
still-
still,
Get the materials.
yeah, you could still decide so that I know that, you know, $254.06 is set aside.
We can still vote.
So-
Same lines, but the
Four-
placement.
14.
14 of them.
And what goes on it as well, right?
Well, no.
It would pretty much be something similar to that. I mean, not exactly, obviously.
Sure.
just,
Yeah,
You know, so, because at the top it'd be, you know, I'm sure City of Kyle. or-
yeah,
But
yeah,
essentially the same.
sure, okay.
Motion for 14 emergency stop area signs.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed?
And then we have, so this one could be another wait for the map, and like I said, I can put together an actual, you know, if I did it versus this
Did
one.
you take photos? Because you said there was some out
Yeah,
already somewhere.
I had
Just to kind
a
of
spare
know
one that I meant to
what-
bring, but it's been.
It was,
I think I've seen-
45,
well, not that one.
there's a bunch of them. Like the trail.
Like the Valley Crown Trail?
45 loop,
Uh.
I would have a lot of them. I mean, not a lot, but I've seen them there.
Trail there. There's a bunch of them. Here.
I have seen the ones on, the toll road.
Yeah.
That trail along the toll road, that what
Yeah,
you're talking about,
that's
yeah,
where it is.
yeah, there's a few out there. I love them. I like to stuff and stuff.
I do too.
I know.
Do you remember what kind of stuff is on there? Is it like environmental education
Yeah.
stuff?
Some of that, like what this animal does for the environment and
The
Kind of
history of the Plum Creek
Yeah.
Trail.
Bear
or
Creek,
the
Bear Creek,
Plum Creek.
Bear Creek is out there.
That's. the
If you
Bear
go
Creek up
really
there.
far, it's out there, so it talks about the Bear Creek ecosystem, that sort of thing.
You can't really. It looks like that.
Mhm.
It's a metal stakes.
Oh, yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
they have a bunch of them. Where there's a seating area.
But it's just, this is what we're gonna wait on to, once we look at the map. And see the placement and see what.
This is really where I had in mind, because we talked originally, way back at the beginning, like having some kind of electronic interaction. And I was like, well, why can't we just make videos and you QR code it, so you can be like, oh, now I have my phone, I'm gonna watch a video
I
on.
think that's what they have, the 45 loop. They've got QR code. And you can.
You can
scan.
watch a little video about what you're looking at, or the history, or something like
Yeah.
that.
I was hoping. to
Excellent
find-
idea, I like that.
And that is great, because she can just, oh, we have a new QR code, slide the old one out, slide a new one in.
Yeah, that part
It's
is,
really cool.
I was trying to look up and see if I could find one of the old files for the butterfly sign, but it's not. That's the only part that I like about it. It's like, this would be so easy, and if you wanted to change it or update it. But it's still 700.
So, but this one, if we spend the money on this, it's easier for you to slide information in and out.
Yes.
So I think
Hope so.
that's
That's
important to
kind
keep in
of-
mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you say I can make it, how long would that take of your time?
It's,
I mean, when we go in a different.
not
direction-
$752 worth of my time, but.
Well,
still.
no, but I'm like.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I would
Yeah,
love,
and
I would
gotta make
love to have
15
these, but this
signs.
isn't my money, so I wanna make sure that
Yeah.
you guys get what you want. So to me, I think they're a great idea, but they're expensive, so I just wanna give you guys cheaper options, cause that's kinda what I'm
But
about.
Don't we have like 2 million?
We have a lot.
Yeah.
So,
We did, and it was getting a little tight with the bulldozer and then but those emergency signs saved us so much money.
See,
So
so yeah, we're already saving on that.
And we don't know yet what the fitness equipment will cost, but sure it will cost them.
we could break the bank with it if we wanted to, but we haven't figured that out yet.
I don't know, I just think we should just buy the signs. For
Because that's
easy.
a-
For easy.
I like the idea
installation.
of the sliding, to get new data. Let's say we go in a different direction to what we do with the information we want to put on those, something completely different that being able to slide it out links to changing up.
So-
But I don't know.
But use
I can't visualize what you're talking about.
So the other thing like that I do like about this, going back and forth. So if you got these in like 18 by 24. You get this we use corrugated like plastic signs a lot for like our upcoming events. If you got this in an 18 by 24, we could easily update, get one of these in every single event we have coming up. We could slide a new one out on the trail, oh, next month we have,
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
XYZ.
Yeah.
But again, it's still $700 or something, so totally up to you guys.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
Okay, but we want to look at a map first, right?
yeah,
I want to figure out how many if we.
So
go
let's
that
think-
way.
yeah, I would definitely, especially on this,
That's
not
true.
want to buy more than we need, for sure.
Yeah, that's true, Josh, it depends on
So-
how many we may go from 15 to 5.
Cause this you said you don't want in the floodplain, is that right?
No, because if it
Yeah,
gets hit, the
think
bad
it's
thing about
close,
this, if it gets hit by like a big enough tree, all of a sudden, here's my 4x4, but the topper is gone. And you're like, oh, don't get me wrong, I will look in the creek for it, but I'm only gonna go so far before it's like, okay, it's gone. So, but yeah. So you guys wanted to go ahead and do the map part
Yeah, we'll
first?
do the map for these.
And. So here's like a little bit of breakdown. I don't know if you wanted it or not, because we kind of already did, but. So here's the numbers, and there's also custom options, but I didn't really see a reason to do a custom option. I mean, that's neat and all, but it's like twice the price,
And
so
too
it's like,
small.
eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, they're only 3 inches. I mean, so
Yeah.
it's not, meh. There's the information on the other one. I forgot to put how much the actual, so that's pointless. Yeah, okay, so that, the 6, okay, so 14 signs, 8 by 12 is $110. I mean, like I said, technically the signs really aren't that expensive. So that is with the square tubing and everything, so that's the entire set for the 250.
What about the sense?
Yeah, pretty much. And honestly, that's probably bigger than we even need, really. I mean,
This is a little bit bigger, this is a little bit smaller.
yeah, because look at that picture, I'm assuming that's a standard, chain link fence. I bet you
Yeah.
that thing is probably only maybe 2 by 4 inches or
Yeah,
3 by 4, it's. So I can definitely go smaller. That's just, and it was just an easy number for me to pick for a guess estimate. Okay, so yeah, the toppers were 3,575, but that was for 15, so. And that does not include shipping. I did not get the shipping on that,
So 8,400. Total tonnage by
but that was for the entire
everything,
package.
got it.
Yeah.
40, what's the 45 for? Oh, I see, never mind. I see, yeah.
So that was all my homework to get to where the end basically is what it was. And I think that might be, yeah, that's it.
So we're a few minutes over. I had I don't know what kind of question this is, whether we can discuss it. But, I want to ask before I forget, we only have one handful meeting, 2 or 3 more meetings, okay. The property behind, you might laugh at this, I thought I may have already asked about this, but for some of it. the property behind where I live next to Waterleaf. Creekside. Plum Creek is behind me. They're not gonna build any, I mean, the subdivision is building a few more houses, and then they're not because of the Plum Creek. Somebody mentioned, I don't know whether it was you, Stacy, or Mariana, that between Waterleaf and Creekside, there's private property. And it encroaches on the trail, I guess, and so they're talking. I think I might have been asking, why can't the area where I live behind, there's a trail out there. Who made it? I don't know, okay? But there's a trail out there, but it ends in the field behind, Lake Kyle. You know, somewhere back there. And can I walk from there all the way to the Waterleaf Trail
Yes.
or to the Waterleaf area?
Mhm.
But between Creekside and Waterleaf, there's
So
a couple of
I'm-
private properties.
I'm having like complete brain freeze. Is Creekside the same one as Arbornot?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I live on.
So yes, right now you can go down that driveway.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
pond is on your right, the
Uh-huh.
retention pond, and you go down and there's a crossing. Yes. I will have to ask, but I believe that they're gonna always have to have access because that's also how we maintain the sewer line. Do not quote me. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that they can completely close that off.
So there's two properties next to Creekside before you get to Waterleaf. And I'm not, now I'm sorry, I'm not sure if Mariana was up there,
Oh, you're talking about where it pops up onto the cornfield?
perhaps.
Yeah, there's
There's a
Three
farm.
properties.
And
I think it's 2 or 3, but no, that's not gonna mess us up because we have the property up on
So
the,
then you can marry the trail from Waterleaf. all
yeah,
the
it's
way
already,
to
yeah, it's
where-
already there. You can, right now,
There.
right now you can, well, not right now because they have a fence up because they're trying to let the grass grow at Lake Kyle. But when the fence comes down at Lake Kyle, you can walk from Lake Kyle all the way to Waterleaf. Already, you've been able to do that for 2 or 3 years, since COVID, because that's when we finished it.
Long, so,
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. If you guys ever want like a trail tour on an ATV, we could set
It's
it up.
fun. She's crazy.
Well, I'd probably not, I'd take them on the tamer version, maybe not the bushwhacking version.
But
that
how
took you
do
on.
we get that? How do we get that? Do we call you up and say, can?
Email me and we can set up a time.
You got it.
So,
You do that.
now that way, yeah, you'll have a
It'll be
better
so good when we
understanding.
talk about all these signs and everything.
Yeah, yeah, no worries.
I just double booked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so wait, motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Okay,
All right.
yeah. See you guys later. Thanks, Timothy.
Sorry.
But thank you. Thank you.
No, it's good. It's good to get out there and see it. All this starts to make so much sense and you're like, oh, like, where would a sign fit? Where would a sign be? Not, where does it get confusing now? Because she's done such a good job putting more trails out there. But now it's just like, oh, now I need some signs. Cause it's not, it used to just be a straight line. Now it's not.
But now I can see, and can I just say this, when I'm thinking of the pumpkin trail, or the trail, all I think of is the Waterleaf area.
Mhm.
Because I've been on that,
Mhm.
I've been up, I know you on the ATV.
Yeah,
I didn't get on that with you, but it was there.
yeah,
But, and so in my mind, all I think about is that area.
yeah, no,
Where
it's,
It goes obviously.
Yeah.
Past behind where I live, Lake Kyle, and I know it's gonna be married at some point.
yeah, at some point they're wanting to go across to, and I still have us recording this
The
because
under-
we're still talking, so I
Oh,
figured,
Okay,
because it's,
the underpass.
yeah, so it's
Love
over
that.
the underpass and, Barton Park and, yeah, obviously, we don't know how long that's gonna be.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
But the budget that we have now, as a purpose of this committee, is to.
for it's
decide
already, what's
up
already
to,
warned, or built, yes,
Okay, not to where.
basically what's already currently
I
available,
was thinking to Lake Kyle.
for pretty much Lake Kyle to Waterleaf.
Okay, well then you can spend some money on the trail behind me.
Maybe, I don't know if I don't know who that
I mean, I'm
belongs
just
to.
putting
I'd
that
have to
out there.
find, I'd have to find out.
Honestly, I don't go out that much. I've been out there one time. I'm afraid of snakes and there's a lot of rattlers in that area. And now I need to walk out there and, put
There's lots of other really cool things in that area too, though.
I know, but
She's
I
like,
get it.
that's enough.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off, so.
Yes,
Okay,
agreed.
cool, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give you a